on here with Live with Jay, number 41. Today, like I said, will be the September 11th, 20th anniversary special edition of Oakland Latinos United. Hopefully, you guys are joining in. Press that like button, and we'll get started soon. As soon as I start getting more of a crowd, we'll talk about what I want to talk about. And we'll see how long we can keep this topic, but I'm going to try to keep most of the live feed on this topic just because it's the 20th anniversary. What's up, Bob Lazar? It's the 20th anniversary of September 11th, the crazy event that happened a long time ago. And I want to give kind of my experience on it and what I think about the whole situation and how basically September 11th changed the world. In many ways, it turned me into a very political type figure. I got into politics because of September 11th in many ways. What's up, Shortcuts? What's up, Andy? What's up, everybody out there? Press the like button. And I want to talk about, what I was doing during September 11th. And maybe I want to talk to you guys about what you guys were doing with it and how you remember it. And do you remember the world before September 11th? So we'll get started pretty soon and I'll talk about what I want to talk about. We'll talk about the official story. We'll talk about the conspiracy theories that came after. What do you believe happened, etc. You know what I mean? So basically, this is Live with Jay, number 41. And this is the special 20th anniversary of September 11th edition. Till this day, I still remember people jumping out the buildings. Oh, yeah. I'm going to talk about that as well. Have you ever heard about the falling man? That's a famous picture that was taken on September 11th of a looked like a light-skinned African-American gentleman who jumped off the building. They made there's a good documentary on YouTube about it called Falling Man. I think it's on Netflix too, I want to say. But it's interesting. But let's get it started and we'll build up the crowd. So what was September 11th? What was it? What happened? So according to official reports, September 11th, 2001, in the morning in the New York in the East Coast. So again, on the morning of September 11th in New York, several airplanes were taken hostage. According to the official story, several Muslim extremists took over the airplanes. One of the ringleaders supposedly was a guy named Mohammed Atta. They were guys from all over. Supposedly, according to the story, they were Middle Eastern Arab men from all over the Middle East. Some of them were from Iran. Some of them were from Lebanon. Some of them were from Saudi Arabia. A lot of them were from Saudi Arabia. And they took over several flights. I think the first flight that was taken over was American Airlines Flight 11, which was destined to go to Los Angeles. And according to the official story, some men jumped on that airplane. I can't remember how many. And with box cutters, they took over the plane. Also, that was the first plane that crashed into the World Trade Center, into the big World Trade Center buildings, which were like 110-story buildings that once existed in New York. They were twin towers. And if you're old enough to remember, every time they would show the skyline of New York in a movie or whatever, you'd always see the twin towers sticking out. So American Airlines Flight 11, which its destination was going to Los Angeles, was the first airplane to crash. United Airlines Flight 175, which was also going to Los Angeles, was the last airplane. Well, not the last, it was the second airplane to crash into the second World Trade Center building. I can't remember if the first one hit the North Tower, and I think so American Airlines Flight 11 hit, I think, the North Tower, and United Airlines Flight 175 hit the South Tower. So basically, these planes, again, you got to remember, these are almost 110-story buildings. I mean, these buildings are massive, more massively high. So these planes hit about the 80th, 90th floor. That's how up they hit. The impact of the building. And if you could look up plenty of videos on there, and you see the huge explosion that happened. By chance they were able to capture the first airplane hitting. I think a firefighter crew picked it up while they were doing something, they heard the airplane and you could see it crashing to the building. But obviously, the second one was captured by a lot of cameras in different angles. You know what I mean? Luis Ramirez says he was there a year before it happened. Yeah, man, that must have been a beautiful building, man. I could imagine. I've never been to New York. It would have probably been nice to have seen it. You know what I mean? Now, American Airline Flight 77 going to LA. You guys are joining me. Press that like button. You know what I mean? They keep hating on my live feed. But anyway, flight American Airline Flight 77, also destined for LA, Los Angeles, hit the Pentagon. That was the third airplane to crash that day. And it hit the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. And those of you who might not know, the Pentagon is actually like the headquarters of the military. And yeah, that one crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. So you have three airplanes that had crashed that day. Watch them old videos before they got hit. Yeah, man. What's good, y'all? What's up? It's Sept. We're talking about the anniversary of September 11th. So, what did I say? It was Flight 77 was the one that crashed into the Pentagon. So, the last flight to be the last flight to be hijacked and to crash, it actually didn't hit any targets, was Flight 93. And Flight 93 was heading to San Francisco, to the Bay Area. Imagine if they would have fucking crashed something in the Bay Area, like the Bay Bridge or something. That would have been fucking crazy. But Flight 93 was coming to San Francisco from Newark, New Jersey. And according to what I'm reading here, I'm sorry, I'm reading some things here too. Flight 93, its pilot was a black pilot named Leroy Homer. And he put in a mayday call, and you could hear it. I've heard a lot of these videos, the transcripts that have been saved, and he's saying like, "Mayday, mayday, 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 get out of here, get out of here!" Like someone's in the cockpit attacking them. So Flight 93 is the one that was most famous because they've made movies about it. It's the one that a lot of people talk about, and basically, Flight 11 was the one where Mark Bingham, Todd Beamer, and several others had got together and according to the official story, attacked the hijackers. And according to what it said, the plane went down and crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, which was like, I guess, a small area, rural area in Pennsylvania, killing every single person on board. And yeah, that basically what September 11th was. So I was giving kind of an overview of what September 11th was. And now we're going to talk about, what do you believe? What do you think happened? Do you think the official story is what happened? Do you think, you know what I mean? Do you think the conspiracies that people talk about is what happened? What do you think? And what do I think? You know what I mean? Because you got to remember, September 11th was a day that changed a lot of things. A lot of things changed after that. Somebody asked me what was it like flying? What was it like flying before September 11th? You know, I'm not the best person to talk about it because I had only traveled on plane a few times before. I've actually traveled more on plane after September 11th than before. And you got to remember, before that I was poor and I didn't have money and I couldn't travel like that. You know what I mean? Like when I got older and started making money and working. But from what I remember, they always had security. They always checked your baggage. You know, I thought it was pretty, strict even before. But I could be wrong because I'd only traveled a couple times on a plane. And I do remember it being somewhat strict, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I do remember they would check your bags. They would make you take everything, you know what I mean? And yeah, we're going to talk about that, Joe Reyes. We're going to talk about the conspiracies as well. So I remember it being kind of similar, but definitely it changed after 9/11. Definitely. That goes without question. And a lot of laws changed after 9/11, some of them for the worse. And in many ways, the Constitution went out the window after September 11th. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is no conspiracy theory. Now, before I go into it, let's talk about the conspiracy of all conspiracies. You know what I mean? Yeah, they didn't used to check your shoes. You're right. We're going to talk about the conspiracy of all conspiracies. One thing that doesn't get talked about as much, and I'm going to put it up right here on my computer before I start talking about it. Give me a second. And that is called Project for a New American Century. And I'm going to tell you what that is. So PNAC, Project of Americans of a New American Century, it says here was a neoconservative think tank based in Washington D.C. that focused on United States foreign policy. So PNAC, or Project for American New American Century, was something that was written up by a group of people, including Billy Crystal, George Bush, Donald Rumsfeld, a lot of the people that were involved, that were basically running the country when September 11th, they had wrote this Project for a New American Century in 1997. And what they said in that Project of a New American Century, and you could look it up, it's public info, you could Google it. They said that in order for them to change foreign policy in the Middle East and go into the Middle East, like attack the Middle East, they had to create there would have to be not create, but there would have to be a Pearl Harbor like event to happen in order for them to get the public to back them up in their foreign policy in the Middle East. And isn't that strange that in 1997, let's think about that before you call me a crazy conspiracy theorist. In 1997, the same people that were in charge of the country on September 11th wrote Project for a New American Century. And they said that in order for us to attack the Middle East, you would have to have a Pearl Harbor like event. And I'm not making this up. You could look this stuff up. It's public information. You know what I mean? And what is Pearl Harbor? Pearl Harbor, for those of you who don't know your American history, Pearl Harbor, much love, brown brother, I'm listening and learning. Oh, y'all says Pearl Harbor was basically an attack on the United States military in Hawaii. I don't think Hawaii was a state yet, but it was definitely a territory at the time. This was 1941, and basically the Royal Japanese Air Force attacked the United States Navy in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, and that attack is what changed the mentality of people to join World War II. So because of the attack on Pearl Harbor is why the United States got into World War II. But who remembers in the early 90s when they tried to blow up the World Trade Center? Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But basically, Pearl Harbor was in the just like September 11th. It was where this famous terms "a day of infamy." That's where that term came from. Was from Pearl Harbor because the President Roosevelt at the time said this day is a day of infamy. So basically, we, the United States, because we are from the United States. Let's face it, this is our government, basically, whether we want to accept it or not. We attacked basically Japan and Germany after Pearl Harbor. So the Pearl Harbor event that they were waiting for, it could be a coincidence, and it could just be one of those things. But it's almost like it's too good to be true. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's too good to be true. They basically got their Pearl Harbor. It's almost like it came flying to them. You know, oh, thank you, thank you. I got this one in San Jose at Hammer and Lewis. But what's up, Mike Wallace? So basically, September 11th was their Pearl Harbor event. You know what I mean? And from there, they were able to do whatever they wanted. And we're going to talk about that. You know, but look that up. PNAC, Project for a New American Century. I am not making this up. This is all true, man. This is not no conspiracy theorist stuff. And what a coincidence that the same people that were running the United States during September 11th were the ones that came up with Project for a New American Century. Ain't that a fucking coincidence? But Sac City boy, if you're on here, I'm gonna tell you how September 11th, Sacramento actually has a connection to me because one of the last things I've seen happened in Sacramento the night before September 11th, and I'll talk about that. But yeah, man, think about that, man. Project for a New American Century. I tell people, you can talk shit about Trump or Biden, but to me, the worst president ever who violated a lot of human rights and basically destroyed our Constitution. Like I was saying, to me, the worst president, man, that violated the Constitution was George Bush by hand. Far, hands down, he was worse than any of them, bro. I mean, Trump was a saint compared to George Bush. Many of you don't remember the George Bush presidency. That motherfucker was evil, man. As dumb as he was also very manipulative, and he had some evil motherfuckers to back him up, like Dick Cheney and all these guys, man. These neoconservative neocons. You feel me? And yeah, man, they basically threw the Constitution out the window because the mob called for it. And this is the problem with the mob mentality. This is why I don't like mob mentality. Even when it comes from Rasa or black people, I don't like mob mentalities. Because when we live by a mob mentality, we're not thinking with our heads, we're thinking with our emotions. You know what I mean? And we run to conclusion before finding out what happens. And in 9/11, everybody was so afraid. Oh my God, the terrorists! That they ran to Bush and let him pretty much destroy the Constitution. And for those of you who don't believe me, not too long after 9/11, what did he do? He put in the fucking the Patriot Act, basically stripping you of your rights. They basically said if you speak out against him, you know what I mean, they can basically come and put you in jail. They basically got rid of habeas corpus. You know what I mean? Meaning your representation of a lawyer in a courtroom to defend yourself. They did that. They're the ones that brought up the security, the surveillance with warrantless wiretaps and surveillance. They did all that, even though they already did it. But this time they were like, fuck it. You know what I mean? We can do it now because we got our Pearl Harbor event, and you motherfuckers don't know any better, and the mob has spoken. You know what I mean? They all made money off the chaos. Yeah, they did. We're worse. But George Bush, man, he pretty much threw the Constitution out the window. It's the truth. Look up the Patriot Act, look up the suspension of habeas corpus. You know what I mean? Any little thing that they can deem terrorist, even if it wasn't, if you spoke out against them, they could lock you up, come and get you. You know what I mean? And I don't know about you, but I don't like having a police state. I just don't. You know what I mean? And it's not for me. Police states never work. They're just a thing of fear. It's fear porn. You know what I mean? And one thing I gotta say, Benjamin Franklin, no matter what you think of him, he did say a dope ass quote. He said, if you have to give up your personal liberties and freedoms, in order to have a temporary sense of protection, you know what I mean, and safety, then you deserve no safety or protection. That's what he said. You know what I mean? And that's real. That's what Benjamin Franklin said. You know what I mean? He said if you have to give up your personal freedom in order to feel safe, then you don't deserve no freedoms. Hey, what's up, Local TV out there in Georgia? What's going on? What's good with it? Out here in Oakland, California, kicking back. But no, going back to 9/11, you know what I mean? That's a lot of that stuff happened. It got stricter at the airports, and I understand why. And we went into wars that didn't make sense. You know what I mean? But to me, I understand going to Afghanistan. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Al Quintanilla? The guy that supposedly orchestrated 9/11 was supposedly in Afghanistan, and that was Osama bin Laden and his group Al Qaeda. And Afghanistan is a country that's been hard to dominate by many governments. You know what I mean? No country has been able to dominate Afghanistan, if you know the history of that country. The Mongols couldn't do it, Genghis Khan couldn't do it, the British couldn't do it, the Russians couldn't do it, and apparently the US couldn't do it either. Well, once we went and killed Osama bin Laden, that was the whole point of that war. Why the fuck didn't they leave then? And why did they start a war in Iraq that had nothing to do with September 11th? So to me, it's just so many crazy things that happened after that war. It was just profits, war profits. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. It's crazy how people fell for it, man. Iraq War, if you're old enough to remember, we supposedly went because Saddam Hussein, who we put in power, remember that he was our ally because he was fighting Iran, and we didn't like Iran at the time. We still don't like Iran, but the U.S. government didn't like Iran at the time. We supported Saddam Hussein to fight the Iranian government. And there was a war for almost 10 years between Iran and Iraq. It was backed by the U.S. Look up the Iran-Contra scandal. You know what I mean? And, and we knew that Saddam Hussein didn't have fucking weapons of mass destruction. It was all a ploy for oil and dominance. You know what I mean? And I would even take it a step further. Why isn't we didn't attack Saudi Arabia? If Osama bin Laden was from Saudi Arabia, and a lot of the hijackers were Saudi Arabians. Why? Why? Because we're in Saudi Arabia's pockets. They run all the oil reserves. And Saudi Arabia is an extremely hardcore Muslim country. Sharia law and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, we're not attacking them. We're attacking these little insignificant little countries. But guess what? The Russians, let's talk about Russia. Russia invaded Afghanistan in 1979. And we supported the people that would eventually become the Taliban and Al Qaeda to fight against the whatchamacallit, the Russians. And at that time, I think the Taliban was called the Mujahideen. And we supported them. The U.S. government supported them. We're the ones that gave them their weapons. Larry Silverstein put an insurance policy in the World Trade Center before the attack. I heard something about that. But we're the ones that created these groups because we supported them with weapons. You know what I mean? That's not no fucking coincidence. But the thing is, the United States government is never going to admit to that. They're not going to say, fuck, we fucked up. They're not. The Gulf of Tonkin, yep, that was in Vietnam, right? That was like a fake attack that never happened, I think. And it's why we started the Vietnam War. Trust me, I know my history. They play monopoly with the world. Yeah, man. So, I mean, like I said, the United States couldn't invade Afghanistan. The Russians couldn't do it. Fucking Genghis Khan couldn't even do it. And he was one of the most powerful invaders ever in life. You feel me? If you know about Genghis Khan. But, they beat the Russians and bankrupted them Afghans. The Russians were pushed back. But then you also got to remember, Russia's economy collapsed. They couldn't be the USSR no more. They couldn't be the Soviets. So they broke up because they went bankrupt, But that's a lot of things, bro. It's a lot of things, you feel me? But it's just a thing of the US government cannot accept where they fucked up. And that's what pisses me off. You know what I mean? It's not that I hate America or nothing like that. It's just, why can't you accept that you fucked up? And that's it, man. Why can't you accept that you don't want freedoms? You want to fucking create a police state. You know what I mean? Because I'm all about freedom of speech. I don't give a fuck if you're racist or who you are. If you don't like me, hey, at least I know you don't like me. You feel me? But you should have the right to say whatever the fuck you want if this is a country of freedoms, right? You should have the right to fucking believe in Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism. Even though myself am an agnostic, I don't believe in any religions, but I give you the right, man. I don't put it against you as long as you don't push nothing on me. You feel me? That's how I feel. But I really think George Bush threw the Constitution out the window, and these tech companies are taking advantage of that in many ways. You feel me? But September 11th. Whatever you think about that day, man, rest in peace to all the people that passed away that day. You know what I mean? Yeah, I consider myself like a moderate centrist liberal because I'm kind of on the both. You know what I mean? But I'm more liberal for sure. But September 11th. No matter what you want to think, man, it was a crazy, crazy day. I mean, it was crazy. That was a crazy day, man. I could. Oh, thanks, man. I've been losing weight, bro. I've been eating a lot of organic food and walking and running. You know what I mean? But yeah, I lost about 5 pounds. But it was a crazy day, man. We can't deny that. If you were alive to see it, it was a fucking crazy day. Whether you were in New York, you know what I mean. Whether you were in the West Coast, it was a crazy day. So I'm gonna tell you how I experienced September 11th. What happened? You know what I mean? I haven't talked about that. So I give you a breakdown of September 11th. And I want to talk about a few of the conspiracies of September 11th. So we talked about what happened on September 11th. We talked about Project for a New American Century. We talked about the Patriot Act, the suspension of habeas corpus, the strict guidelines for traveling, and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So now I'm going to talk about my own personal experience with September 11th. Oh shit, you were born after, huh? 4 months. You was in the fifth grade. So I was, how old am I now? I'm 43, right? I'm gonna be 44 soon. So I was 23 at the time. I flew to Vegas after 99. Nobody on the plane but 20 people. I bet really quick. What's the store again in San Jose where you can order the shirt? Oh, Hammer and Lewis. Hammer and Lewis. Hammer and Lewis in San Jose was working the counter in San Leandro. All right, so let me tell you what I was doing. I was staying out in the town, um, and I used to work out in San Ramon when September 11th happened. I was 23 years old. I used to work at an office job, believe it or not, and I used to wake up early to get there to beat the traffic, and and I used to work all the way in San Ramon because it paid good at the time. Can you believe it? It used to pay $10 an hour. That was good in September 11th, bro. $10 an hour was a good job in September 11th. To me, it was like, oh shit, $10 an hour. You gotta remember, this is when minimum wage was what, like 4.25 or something. But steel from 900 directly to China. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But basically, I remember the day before September 11th. So back to what I was doing. I was working at a job in San Ramon at the time. I was actually working an office job, and basically, yeah, I was balling at 50. Yeah, 15. You were the shit if you were working a 15-hour job. You were 20. You were rich. If you were working a $20 an hour job in September 11th, you were rich basically. But I used to work in San Ramon, and I remember I had that day off. I can't remember why. I think I had a doctor's appointment. I think I want to say, and I remember the day before there had been a story that had made headlines even in the Bay Area, and I got it here. There was a guy named Joseph Ferguson, and he had went on a killing spree in Sacramento, and he had killed his girlfriend Nina Susu, and he basically had went on a killing spree. He was a security guard, and he killed a bunch of people, a bunch of co-workers, and his ex-girlfriend at the security office. You know, the office where the security company is. And basically, the city of Sacramento was like on a manhunt. So there was like this manhunt for him all over California. So again, you you I seen the news about it here in the Bay Area. It made news headlines even in the Bay, even though it happened in Sac. You know, be on the lookout for this guy named Joseph Ferguson. So the night of September 10th, the night before, uh, he got killed. He got into a shootout with the Sacramento County sheriffs in Rancho Cordova, I want to say. And I remember the last thing I seen before September 11th happened. I watched a news report of the killing of Joseph Ferguson, and it was the chief of police, and he was saying that Joseph Ferguson had left a note saying he wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, and that he wanted his death to make headlines. But little did he know, his killing spree would be overshadowed the next day. So that was the last thing I seen before I went to sleep. So I remember going to sleep around roughly 11, and I remember I was gonna wake up. I was gonna sleep in because normally I would work and I would wake up like at 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? 5 or 6, yeah, 5 in the morning, and I had to be at that job by 7, I think. But that day, I didn't work. You know what I mean? And I remember I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna sleep in." And I remember I did have a, I did have I had a a doctor's appointment. I remember. So I remember waking up like at I want to say 7:30, and I remember I had to call the doctor to. I think I was gonna double check on the appointment, and then I kept trying to call, but there was this weird recording. I had a landline at the time. That's when everyone still had landlines, and it said something weird like you can't make calls right now. You know what I mean? And I had never heard that before. And I knew my phone wasn't off because it had the dial tone. So I'm like, huh, that's weird. So I said, I'll just call later. And I just went back to sleep. And I don't remember. I was staying with my family at the time. I don't remember where they were at. I think they had woken up early and went to work or whatever. I think I was there home alone, if I remember right. And I remember my phone was ringing off the hook. And I was asleep, but it woke me up. You know, them landlines used to be hella loud. And and I picked it up, and it was my homie who used to work with me at that job. And he's like, "Hey, bro, you know, some crazy shit's going on." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I don't know. There's like a war going on or something. We've been attacked, like an attack. Like there ain't no war going on right now." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Oh, we've been attacked, bro. Put it on the news. Trust me." He said, I remember his last words were, "I gotta go, bro, but trust me. Put it on the news right now." I said, "All right, fool." We hung up. And as soon as I turned on the news, man, the first fucking thing I seen was the World Trade Center falling. And then next thing you know, they showed New York, and it looked like it was full of smoke, like a fucking nuke. I thought a nuclear bomb went off. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like literally, I went like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like, what is this? You know what I mean? I remember my heart started racing. I thought we were in a fucking nuclear attack or something. Like, oh shit, are they gonna bomb the Bay Area? You know what I mean? So I didn't know, and then I kind of composed myself and kept watching. They were like, there was an attack on um on New York on the World Trade Center, and like the Pentagon had been blown up. So when he called me, it was 8 o'clock, and New York is 3 hours ahead. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So it would be 11 a.m. in New York at that time. And I think the World Trade Center, both of them had collapsed already. Interestingly enough, I think Flight 93 was still in the air when I was watching it live. I think it had crashed just a little bit after that. But yeah, man, I remember they were showing crazy shit. They were showing people jumping off the buildings. You know what I mean? I remember they kept showing that, like the people falling from the building. Man, it was crazy sight, man. They just showed hella jumpers just jumping from it. You know what I mean? And then in some of the videos on the ground, you could hear the fucking the jumpers hitting the ground, bro. In the background, you could hear bah. You could hear hella loud, and that was basically humans splattering to the ground, bro. It was crazy, man. And it just was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? I get a pit stop, work Marriott downtown, I watched that bar scared. It was surreal. Yeah, man, it was really surreal. I was at home watching it. You know what I mean? Just tripping, like, what the fuck? And I remember the streets were empty, bro. Like, I don't know, people were scared to come out or something. Like the freeway, because I remember I had to give my sister a ride to work, and the freeway was lonely, bro. And it was a trip, man. It was a trip. So that was my experience, bro. I had totally forgot by then about Joseph Ferguson. I remember like Joseph Ferguson was the big thing on the news. The next day, Joseph Ferguson's bitch ass didn't even exist anymore. You know what I mean? Because September 11th happened. But that was my September 11th experience, bro. Um, you know, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the conspiracies. But before I change the topic, how do you remember September 11th? Where were you at? I want to hear from the crowd out there. 9/11, I was making 18 an hour. We had a candlelight vigil before work. Damn. Where were you guys at? Were you guys watching it? Were you guys at work? I want to talk to you guys for a minute. I was in the womb. You was in the womb listening to it, huh? From the womb. Yeah, man. Kind of ironic they used to have terrorist scenes like that on movies. Die Hard, yeah. Yeah. Eleazar Becerra said I was not born. We got two folks who weren't born yet. You guys are youngsters. But yeah, I was 23 at the time, man, when that happened. And yeah, it was surreal, bro. To have been someone who's seen it, yeah, I wasn't in New York, but even being in Oakland, bro, at the time in the West Coast watching it, it was surreal, bro. It was a trip. Like it was like man, tapping in from the other side of water 650 to 510 size in that fashion. But yeah, watching it, it was surreal, brother. It was something I couldn't explain. High school start off assembly about the incident. Remember that the first time there wasn't a plane in the sky. Yeah, man, there was none. I was sleeping. My mom woke me up and bring the tag. Then I put the news. Second plane hit. I was at work. Honestly, I didn't know why and didn't care till I saw people jump. Yeah, man. You see, by the time I woke up, it was 8 o'clock California time. So in New York, it would have been 11. So it had already been said and done for. Everything had already passed. You feel me? I think the towers had already collapsed by that time. So I got to see the end of it. But I think Flight 93 was still in the air. All the kids going home. An hour left when Pops scooped me up. I turned to see them because they looked terrified. Yeah, man, there was a lot of uncertainty. Like one thing I knew at the time that we were gonna go to war with somebody. You know, there's something else that I wanted to bring up that nobody talks about. I was on my way. My mother-in-law looked like I was half asleep and heard the plane headed to SFO. It was orchestrated very well. They shut down schools early on 9/11. I don't know, bro. I was already older, bro. I wasn't in school. But but yeah, it was a crazy day. It was a crazy day, you know. And I just remember it being surreal, bro, being a trip, you know. And yeah, man, to me it was always scary to fly after that. No other day the same because high school had runaway schoolies because you didn't know where you punch or kill people. But yeah, definitely September 11th was a day that changed the world, man. And whether you believe the official story or believe the conspiracy, I'm not here to judge you, man. You know what I mean? But I was in Brooklyn, New York, first grade. Took us out of high school early. Everybody was scattering. Damn, I could imagine being in New York, San Leandro, job listening to second wave. Hey, to Sheepland TV, did you actually see the towers on fire or anything? If you were in Brooklyn, yeah, they had the plane shot down, headed to FO. Alerts all bridges down. I know planes were empty as hell for a while. Yeah, man. And we're gonna talk about this shoot. About Flight 93. That was the one that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. So let's talk about the conspiracy. You know what I mean? That came afterward. Was it official? What they said that these terrorists took over with box cutters? It could be a possibility, but yeah, being in New York must have been crazy, man. Fuck, I couldn't imagine being in New York seeing that with my own eyes. That would be fucking traumatic, probably to this day. It was traumatic watching it on TV. Like, just thinking about it, I feel traumatized. You feel me? I can picture myself in the living room watching the falling to their deaths. You know what I mean? Like, I see that in my head clearly as yesterday, bro. And I remember it was a bright, beautiful day outside. It was nice and sunny and warm, I remember. You know? But let's talk about the conspiracy. So, the official story is that there were some Muslim terrorists that took over 4 airplanes, crashed two into the World Trade Center, one into the Pentagon, and one was rescued by by a group of passengers who tried to take the plane. And once again, the official story was that the planes were crashed by Muslim terrorists, right? So the conspiracy goes that it was an inside job, and that possibly the U.S. government, working with the Saudi Arabians, maybe even the Israelis, orchestrated 9/11, and that the planes may or may not have been taken over by Muslim terrorists, and that the planes may have been crashed into the World Trade Center and Pentagon by remote control. And Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, possibly got shot down by an airplane. You know what I mean? By a military jet, which could be a possibility, and I'll say why. Now, the World Trade Center, it goes without saying that airplanes hit it. Whether there were the planes people say hit them or not. I mean, there's thousands of videos out there. You can clearly see a fucking plane hitting it. You know what I mean? That goes without saying. You know what I mean? Were they planes that were taken over by guys with box cutters? You know what I mean? I don't know. Or were they remote controlled and crashed? I don't know. But definitely September 11th. I'm sorry. Definitely the World Trade Center buildings. That was American Airline Flight 11 and the United Airline Flight 175. Those definitely crashed into the World Trade Center. That goes without giving. Now, American Airline Flight 77 is the one that supposedly crashed into the Pentagon. And yeah, I'm going to talk about Tower 7. We're going to talk about all that. So, Flight 77 American Airline was headed to LA, and that's the one that crashed into the Pentagon. Now, why is there no surveillance available of the plane crashing into the Pentagon? And there's only one that was officially released, and you could barely see. It almost looks like a missile hitting the Pentagon. You know what I mean? But why didn't they release more footage of the planes crashing into the Pentagon? Weird to me, you know what I mean? And that one right there just seems like it doesn't make sense. But it might have been a plane. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I heard that a lot of the the FBI, exactly, that's what I was gonna say. The FBI collected the evidence. They collected yeah, I'm gonna talk about that right now, about the New Jersey flight. That's flight 93. Why did they confiscate all videos of the plane crashing into the Pentagon, and why didn't they release any of them? What are they trying to hide? You know what I mean? That never made sense to me. And yeah, that's the suspicious activity. And oh yeah, I heard about that, about the nanothermite. Trust me, I've watched plenty of documentaries about 9/11 conspiracies. That's why I decided to make this 20th anniversary live feed, because I remember 9/11 and I remember the conspiracies, and I've heard all sides because I've always been into politics and all this stuff. So let's talk about Flight 93. That's the most famous one out of all of them. You know, Flight 93 is the one that basically took off from Newark, New Jersey, and was on its way to San Francisco. It was gonna bomb the fucking Bay Bridge. But basically Flight 93 is the one where an actual mayday came from an African American airplane pilot named Leroy Homer. And you can hear it. It's on YouTube. It's on Wikipedia. And he's saying, like, terrified for his life, like, Mayday, Mayday, get out of here, Mayday, I feel we're gonna die. I think he says something like that, you know what I mean? And then that's the one where a lady, one of the flight attendants named Cece Lyles, supposedly called on her cell phone, and we'll talk about the cell phones in a minute. Cece Lyles was an African American flight attendant, and she called her husband saying, tell our plane has been hijacked, tell our kids that we love them, and she says bye, and then, like, kind of crying. And then basically she says something at the end, like, this is fake, or it's fake, something like that. You could hear it clearly. It almost sounds like someone in the background is telling her, giving her directions. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theory, but look up the CC Lyles recording and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's all over YouTube. You know what I mean? I'm not even lying. Look it up. CC Lyles recording. You know what I mean? Yes, it's true. She called and she says, let me see if I can put it on. Hold on. Let me put it on YouTube. Hold on. Maybe you guys can hear it. Give me a second. I'll show you guys the CC Lyles. CC Lyles. Hold on, real quick. I'm trying to find the recording. Here it goes. Give me a second. Let me see if you guys can hear it. You heard that? I don't know if you heard that. If you caught that at the end when she said bye, she said this is fake. And you could hear it clearly on there, bro. I don't know if you guys heard it. And before that, when she was saying, "Tell my children I love them," it sounded like someone said, "You're doing good" in the background. You gotta hear it, man. You guys just look up the CC Lyles recording, and you'll see what I'm talking. Okay, I'll play it one more time. Unfortunately, my speaker on my computer is not good. So let's see if you guys can hear it again. One more time. Right there. This is fake. You heard that? That was right at the end when she said bye in the kind of crying voice. It sounded like I don't know if it was her, if it was another voice, but it sounded like they said this is fake or something like that. It's weird, bro. It's just one of those weird things about 9/11, bro, that doesn't make sense. And let's talk about it because several people were able to make maybe they said this is faith. I don't know. They said something. But how were so many people able to make cell phone calls with cell phones from 2001 technology? You know what I mean? Mark Bingham, Todd Beamer, and various others who were various others were able to make cell phone calls with phones from 2001 technology. Look, the last time I tested it just to be a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. The last time I flew on a plane was in 2018. I went to Texas, and when we got, I wanted to see, I wanted to see where I could use my phone. And when we got to about 2,000 feet, my phone was gone completely. I even think maybe at 1,000 feet it started already tapering off. But definitely at 2,000 feet, my phone was unusable. And you know, a plane reaches up to like 30,000 feet in the air. Trust me, I know this. And how were they able to? Now, I think Mark Bingham was the one. I don't remember. No, it's Todd Beamer. Todd Beamer was one of the victims of Flight 93. Now, he was able to use an airphone because planes back then, I don't know if they still do, but in those days they had airphones. They were phones that were connected to the airplane, and you can make calls from them. And Todd Beamer was trying to reach his wife, I believe, but he couldn't get a hold of her. So he ended up talking to a operator named Lisa Jefferson, an African American lady, and he basically broke down what happened. Like he gave the whole scenario. So this is how they know most of what happened that day was because of Todd Beamer. Uh, and Todd Beamer is the one who famously said, "Let's roll" at the end. You know what I mean? And they went in and supposedly took over the airplane from the hijackers. You know what I mean? And that is weird because I've heard a lot of recordings, with the exception of the recording of Leroy Homer, who was the now Leroy Homer. Let's listen to the Leroy Homer. Let me see if I could put it. Leroy Homer was the pilot of Flight 93, and his is I think it's real, bro. I don't think it's fake, but you guys are gonna listen to it. I mean, he sounded like he was terrified for his life. Let me see if I could find it. For some weird for some weird reason, I can't find it. Hold on, let me go to Wikipedia because I know it's on Wikipedia. Give me a second. I want to show you guys the Leroy Homer recording. That was from the from he called in a mayday to the flight, to the people monitoring the flights. I don't know what you call them. Hold on, real quick. Oh, here it goes. Listen to it real quick. I think this one is legit, bro. So if you could hear, he would say, Mayday, Mayday. You could hear like a commotion in the back. There's another one too. Hold on. So in that one, he said, Mayday, Mayday, we're all going to die. You know what I mean? So something was obviously happening for him to have made that call. Whether it was terrorists or not, I don't know. But to me, the whole thing about Flight 93, I dare you to look up. God damn, we're way past the hour mark. Damn, this must have been a really. We're almost past the hour mark. But this was a good live feed, wasn't it? But I feel that that plane was shot down, man. Because I dare you to look up wreckage of airplanes. You know what I mean? And you could Google airplane wreckages, and you could always see at least something of an airplane. You could tell that that was once an airplane. Even the worst plane crashes, you could still see that there was once a plane there. But Flight 93, nothing. It almost like it vanished off the air. I don't even think they found the bodies. They just found like bits and pieces of it. And what a coincidence that Flight 93, oh yeah, I've seen Loose Change. I've seen all of them. What a coincidence that Flight 93 was the only airplane crash that they never found anything. That's crazy to think about, man. That's crazy to think about. You know what I mean? That they didn't find anything. And like I said, you could Google plane crashes. Even the worst plane crashes, you'll see something that used to be a plane. You know what I mean? But Flight 93, nothing. It suspicious if you could talk to me, you know what I mean? But whatever happened, man, I feel bad for the people that died that day on that plane flight, man. They didn't deserve what they got, man. And they found Jenny right at foot. But they didn't deserve to die like that, man. Whatever they happened, bro. My condolences to the family. They're all fucking sad, bro. And it was just sad in general to all the people. Once we took the poppy fields, opium farms, yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Loose Change, yeah, man. Loose Change was pretty good. But, I feel bad for them people, man. They didn't deserve to die like that. I feel bad for the people that died in the World Trade Center or even in the Pentagon. It was a fucked up day, to say the least. Now, let's talk about the last one before I end this topic and maybe we change it a little bit. Let's talk about World Trade 7. So someone brought up World Trade Center 7. So World Trade Center 7 was a building that was, I believe, 2-3 blocks away from the World Trade Center, from the Twin Towers. And World Trade 7 collapsed for no apparent reason like 4 or 5 hours later. Now, World Trade Center was close to the Twin Towers, but not that close. And it probably did sustain damage from the buildings falling, but buildings that were next to the World Trade Center didn't even collapse. But World Trade 7 did. Now, I was watching live when World Trade, this is one thing you guys don't know. I was watching live when World Trade Center collapsed. Yes, sir. I was watching, I think, CNN, I think. And I remember they were showing it and they were like, they believe that. Now, I know, they don't want me to talk about this stuff, I guess. But no, I was watching it live when World Trade Center when World Trade Center collapsed, and I remember that basically they were saying that the building's gonna fall and blah blah blah, and I seen it collapse. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Now, some people are saying that heat brought it down, but I don't get how a building that was like three blocks away from the World Trade Center could collapse from a heat, but a building, but the World Trade Center buildings that were next to the World Trade Center, right next to it, didn't collapse, and they sustained just as much damage. Now, supposedly the CIA headquarters or something like that was in World Trade 7, and there was a lot of other stuff in there. And who's to say they didn't blow it up? You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seems suspicious. You guys can think whatever you want to think. What do you guys think about World Trade 7? And what do you think about Flight 93? Do you think Flight 93 was shot down? I heard it was made out of balsa wood. That's why I thought said Tower 7 was a controlled demolition. The heat. Well, people are thinking it was a controlled demolition. No one knows. You know what I mean? And we'll probably never know, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Do you think Flight 93 crashed because the people on the plane took over the plane and the you guys crashed it, or do you think it was shot down? You know what I mean? What do you guys think? You feel me? And, you know, just so many weird things about that day, man, that don't make sense. Now, I think 93 headed for Tower 7. For 97. I don't get it. Think 90. Oh, Flight 93? I just know it was shady. I remember also when they tried to blow up the World Trade Center in 1993. I remember that too, clearly. You feel me? I remember watching that in the news too at the time. That happened in 93 or 90. I think it was 93. You know what I mean? So it wasn't the first time that they tried to bomb the World Trade Center. You know? But they sent some militia jets to fly 93 plane route. Did you know that? The lady said the jet had no ammunition, though. I heard about that. I heard something like that. Something to do with a seagull? Never heard that. Underground parking. Yeah, man. Could have been drone, for all we know. Yeah. Yeah, it could have been a lot of things, man. It was crazy. They had bomb sniffing dogs the first attack before 9/11 stopped. I think people on flight tried to fight the hijackers. Possibly. I blew up like the World Trade. I think that maybe they possibly attacked it, but I think it was possibly shot down at the same time. That's just what I think, because it's just suspicious that there's no trace of the damn plane. None. That's suspicious to me. Osama. Yeah, and then when we killed Osama, what happened? They didn't even film him. We don't even know if he's dead. They just said he died and they threw him in the water. They said China announced another attack soon. Look up when they're going to stage an attack and back out and back out. Yeah, man. It was just a crazy thing. And then did you guys know that before 9/11, Bush and his people had lost $1 trillion? That's something that's not talked about either. They lost $1 trillion fucking dollars. How do you lose $1 trillion, man? Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable the corruption and power can do, man. It's just unbelievable. You know, but what can you do, man? Yeah, man. 93 bombing the World Trade Center. They're all Freemasons. It came up missing. Yeah, they never found it. When did China say they're going to attack? I don't know about China. Threw him in the water, respect to Muslim tradition. But why didn't they film him? September, Treasury Department announced they lost $1 trillion and 9/11 happened. Yep. Could happen again. The Taliban's take over. The Taliban. I doubt the Taliban's going to do anything, man. You know. But, I mean, if we have such a powerful government, why the hell did we allow the Taliban to come back? I thought the whole point of being there was to neutralize them. But, I don't know, man. It's all suspicious to me, bro. But it is what it is, man. So that concludes basically my 9/11 special. You know what I mean? Live feed. How'd you guys like it, man? Did you guys like it? Did you guys learn anything from it? Let's go through a little bit of open forum before I get off. But how'd you guys like today's live feed? Some a little different. You know what I mean? Some, I just want to do something different, bro. You feel me? And just I was always into the 9/11 conspiracy, so I wanted to do this, bro. I just wanted to do it, bro, because it was the 20th anniversary, and I just wanted to at least put some in your guys' mind. And you could look up anything I'm talking about, bro. Anything I'm talking about. Most of it is true, bro. Very few of it, if any, is made up. You know, different and informative. Gracias. Just hopped on, but I see you, brother. Gracias, Stone Cold. But I think October 17th is the anniversary of the big earthquake that happened in Oakland in the Bay Area. I might make an anniversary of that, and we'll talk about earthquake and earthquake safety. Let's do that and talk about the history of earthquakes in California. Are you guys down for that? October 17th and that week around October 17th this year. There were oil partners. I'm telling you, the pics of Bush and Osama. Google it. I believe it, man. I mean, you remember that they showed it on Fahrenheit 9/11 and on Loose Change. While all planes were grounded, the Bin Laden family was flown out by the U.S. government. It's true. It's true. Look it up. But yeah, man. That's basically concludes what I wanted to talk about. For sure, we could talk about that. What I was doing, what I remember, a lot of things, bro. Cause I seen a lot, bro. I seen the damage in Oakland, and I seen the bridge, the Cypress Bridge in West Oakland. I seen it collapse, bro. I seen the whole thing gone. It was fucking surreal, bro. I could still see it in my memory like it was yesterday, and I was only 12 years old when that happened. But yeah, man. I've always been into the 9/11 conspiracies, and it was just a day that I'll never, just one of those crazy days I'll never forget. I mean, I've lived through so many crazy things. I lived through the '89 earthquake. I lived through the Gulf War. I lived through 9/11, through coronavirus. Fuck, I lived through my short life, bro. I've lived through so many fucking things already. I've seen a lot of crazy events happen. You feel me? Orale, you're from 19. Yeah, I'm about to be 44. I'm 43 still. I'm gonna be 44 in a couple weeks now. But my birthday's coming up. I want to come celebrate my birthday. But yeah, man. It's just one of those days, man, that I'll never forget. You know what I mean? Oh, and another thing, you guys are gonna laugh. Uh, my grandma Sarah in San Francisco bring back the boat. San Francisco. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the bridge was out. I know. So, did you see they found 20 other planes better than ours? Planets better than ours. No, I didn't hear about that, bro. I wouldn't be surprised. You know. But yeah, you guys are gonna laugh at this, bro. I went to I went to Santa Rita for the first time like 3 weeks after September 11th. I spent a week in that motherfucker, bro. That shit sucked. I said, man, this shit is nothing like the homies make it out to be. This shit fucking blows. I was in 34 West Thunderdome. You feel me? I spent a week in that motherfucker. I said, I ain't never coming back to this shit again. And I never went. Knock on wood. Never went. You feel me? Yeah, but 3 weeks after that, I was in Santa Rita for the first time. That shit fucking sucked dick. Yeah, in Dublin. Yeah. I got arrested in Dublin. That's the thing. My homie used to live in Dublin, and I was out there, and the police started fucking with us. And then they were like, oh, you have a warrant. We got to take you in, man. The motherfucker took me straight to Santa Rita, right up the street. You feel me? Brown is beautiful. Yes, sir. All colors are beautiful, man, to be honest with you. But brown is definitely beautiful. But yeah, man, that was the live feed. Anybody else want to throw in anything in there? You know what I mean? You could throw in whatever you want. It could be about 9/11. It could be off topic. Whatever you want, brother. I already did my part. I'm already sore in my throat for talking so long. I talked for more than an hour. about this straight up. But it was pretty dope, man. It was just one of those things, bro. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and I'll keep on bringing content like this. But I got a lot of videos that I'm working on too. I know I've been kind of lagging on the videos and the spills, but I'm gonna do a couple. I'm planning on doing one hopefully this week. I'm gonna call another part of my Oakland crime stories, and this one is about killing that happened in a killing that happened in 1988 at uh with what you call it it happened in 1988 at Hawthorne Elementary, right there on 28th and I think 28th Ave. And what happened was the dude, he ran over four kids and killed two. They were all Raza kids, bro. They were coming out of school, and and I seen the aftermath of it. Me and my mom were going to a Centro Infantil de la Raza, if you guys know where that's at, on East 16th and 27th Ave. And we were passing by Hawthorne, and we seen the ambulances taking all the kids away. It was tragic, man. It was fucking sad. And I want to make a video remembering that. That was the killing of it was basically a hit and run. You feel me? What year? That was 1988. Yes, sir. I was 11 years old when that happened, and I remember it clearly, bro. Clearly, as it was yesterday. It was 1 year before the earthquake, bro. And it was the summer of 1988, I want to say. But I have the original newspaper report of it, and I remember when it happened, bro. I remember that the little boy was Martinez. I don't remember the name of the boy. Possibly so many kids were getting ran over back until the late 90s. Yeah, man. Hey, there was a big accident on 38th Ave on Thursday where a drunk driver smashed into a van full of kids. You feel me? Lived on 34th. Oh, that's where the kids lived? Yeah, man. I think it was two kids that were related to each other. Yeah, minivan, yup. I'm gonna post about that actually. You know what? I'm gonna make a little spiel about that. But yeah, man, I want to make a video about that. He was out there. Oh man, that was what happened to the driver, bro. The punk ass motherfucker that was speeding. I seen the video of it. Oh yeah, I remember Alien Gonzalez. Yeah, that was bad, bro. That accident. But yeah, 1988. I'm gonna make a video about that. There's a couple other things I want to make a video. I want to make a video too. They held him down. They didn't beat his ass. They should have beat his ass. What was he? Was he Rasa or was he black? Was he white? What was he? But he was in a G6. I haven't seen someone killed, but someone killed this year and almost got his head exploded by a gun. Yeah, man. I've seen people get killed. It's not a beautiful sight at all, and I don't glorify it either. But yeah, man. I seen that accident. I seen a video of that accident. That was bad, man. But yeah, I want to make that. I want to make a video. I want to make a kind of a fun video to play on the whole Norte Sur thing. I want to talk about the differences and the stereotypes. Got him 5-0 was there fast. But oh, okay. But I want to make a video about the differences between Northern California and Southern California. It would be fun. It's nothing. I'm not gonna make fun of any areas. It's just some fun. You guys will like it. I'm planning on doing a spill on that. Crime stories about the killing of. Hey, have you heard about Little Toro and Gunner beef? Yeah, I heard about it. But I want to make a video about that and about the killings at Hawthorne Elementary in 1988. So be on the lookout. There were a couple other things that I was thinking about doing, but I can't think of them right now. A couple other videos, but I do have some spills coming up for sure. And yeah, man, I'm gonna keep on doing my Oakland Latinos United. That's what I'm here for. You feel me? To bring you more info. But yeah, I heard that the Gunner and Toro don't like each other. They closed a school in Detroit. Some girl stuck in the head out the bus, went up past the tree. Damn, that don't sound good. He got paperwork. I don't know if they got paperwork on him. Live with Bean or Puppet. Which Bean? The one from the 60s? Puppet from 38? Did you see Holyfield get KOD? Nah, I didn't see that. I think I heard about something about it. You know what I mean? What about the Coops album, Cancel the World Trade? Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Matter of fact, that was made before the attack. You know what I mean? They showed like the World Trade Center blowing up. Hey, bro, if you can find Bean, bro, tell him to hit me up. You know, I don't know where to find him. You feel me? I know I met him before. Remember a kid fell off the drop zone in Great America? Yeah, I think I remember that. Jesus Campos, the Calles owner. Oh yeah, I remember that when he got killed. Yeah, he got robbed, right, or something like that. Carlos is in Tracy. Hey, tell him to get a hold of me, bro. If he wants to do an interview, I'm down to do an interview with him, bro. You know what I mean? He could hit me up on IG. I don't know if he's on IG, but I met Carlos before. You know what I mean? Back in the days, like last time I seen him was maybe like about 7, 8 years ago. I seen him on East 14th. I was talking to him for a minute, but yeah, man. I haven't seen that dude in years, so I don't. You know, you guys know how to get a hold of him. Remember Miko's? Yeah, I remember Miko's. Wasn't that that was the car painting place, right? The only one out here is Jimmy's son, Danny. Orale. Yeah, man. What, they all moved out there to like Stockton area? Like Stockton, Tracy area? I know a lot of people left the Bay Area. Hey, Shortcuts One, are you still on here? Say yes if you're still on here. I want to ask you something. Los and Mike are the only ones alive. Yeah, most of the Parking brothers are dead, huh? From what I heard. Parenting skills of America, we had more of that. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I wanted to ask Shortcuts One something real quick. Oh, there you go. Hey, Shortcuts. Hey, I was in Oakland today, and I seen hella Guatemalans driving around with Guatemalan flags, like everywhere, bro. What was that about? Do you know what that's about? Is it like, is today like a Guatemalan day or something like that? I seen hella Guatemalans driving around Oakland with their flags out, bro. Like how Mexicans do on Cinco de Mayo, bro. I was just curious if you know what I'm talking about. I seen hella of them today all over the town. I was out in Oakland today, and I seen hella Guatemaltecos driving around. Oh yeah, but the 15th is not today though. Oh yeah, we are the world. We are the world. We are the children. We are the world to make a better place. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. My favorite club is the Oakland Airport. Oh yeah, why is that? Yeah, I remember We Are the World. I was hella little when that came out. We are the children. Also, for some reason, Sue 13 out here in Vallejo ain't really feeling the Raza Uniting out here in Vallejo. They said they need to happen in SoCal first for them to start. Hey, Chris Correa, there's still Norteños in Vallejo? I used to know a lot of Norteños out there. People are telling me that now it's a lot of Sureños there. The homie said them Richmond cats was in the streets tonight, though. Which Richmond cats? But yeah, man. Yeah, but I know I've seen some 18th Street sued in Richmond. I don't know if there's 18th Street. I know they have like VFL and RST are the ones I remember hearing about. But yeah, I remember hearing about those one dudes they rap in Vallejo. They're called like Bay Recon. I think they're Sureños. Which Richmond cats the predominant raza? Okay, you're talking about the Sureños. There's like one or two Northerners left in Vallejo. The OGs too. It's all sued. BBH now. Bay Recon, West Vallejo teams. Orale. Yeah, when I lived in Vallejo, there's a lot of Norteños out there. There used to be the what BCV and BPN. That's what I remember. You know, back in and then like BBH, they were around too. You know, but yeah, that's a trip because I remember there used to be hella Norteños in Richmond. I mean, in Vallejo back in the days. When I lived there, at least there was a gang of them. But times have changed, I guess. But yeah, man. So yeah, I'm about to get off this. It's already been way past the hour mark, and I just want to say what's up to you guys and do these. I like to Oakland because I always go to Jalisco. Orale, you always leave the Bay Area. But I'm about to get off this stuff, man. Yeah, BBH is out there, but they are not deep. That's what Joe Reyes said. Good night, y'all. Stay blessed. So yeah, I'm about to get off this. I myself need to go to sleep super soon. What's up, Oakland? Tapping in from Los. What's up now, Garcia? Man, you're tapping in late because I'm about to get off. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it to you guys. So leave me the last words before I get off. If you guys want to leave one last thing, did you watch the Gunner spill on Cholas? Reminded me of the Crew LM, and then oh yeah, the Crew. Yeah, I remember that. There was also another one called Red Roses, I think, if I remember right. Because I used to mess around with this girl who claimed she was from Red Roses way back. But yeah, everybody, if you guys want to leave any last comments before I get off, anything I could read off, give it to you guys. OG, triple OG, exposed Gunner again. Don't he always do that? But yeah, man, is that guy even still on there? Because I noticed he has like an account and it's gone, and he has another account and it's gone. So I don't know. More places of Jalisco safe. There are no drug cartels. Órale. In Jalisco, Mexico. My mom is from Michoacan. I don't know the area where my mom's from, how safe it is, but maybe. But yeah, man. So hopefully you got cartel started in Jalisco, someone says. But hey, guys, look, I'm about to get off this, and you guys have a good night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that spiel about September 11th. I dug deep into my memory and went back far, man, and talked about a lot of things that I hadn't remembered in a long time. I had to dig them out of my brain again. You feel me? Because I don't think much about those days anymore. So, your live show tonight was the best. Shout out to all the listeners. Gracias. Gracias to all you guys who came out to my September 11th 40th anniversary live feed. And just remember, man, whether you believe the official story, whether you believe it's a conspiracy, you know what I mean? Remember, people did die that day, and we have to respect those who died and send them an RIP and, condolences to their family, you know what I mean? But at the same time, never be afraid to question your government. Never be afraid to question anything the media or the government throws out to you. Always question things, you know what I mean? And was the chat this lit last week? Yeah, it was pretty lit last week. Never be afraid to question. Never be afraid to speak out, and never be afraid to defend freedom of speech. Because look, as far as I hate racists and people that say dumb shit, I respect their freedom of speech, just like I want them to respect my freedom of speech. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just always be aware, raza. Keep it Chicano power, power to the people, and power to la raza out there. Everybody, no matter where you from. I'm out late.